Hello and welcome to the third installment of the Road to Gladiator. In this series we talk about screen awareness and opportunities. For starters, with screen awareness, we're going to have to look into a couple add-ons that I use to assist myself. Because, let's face it, there's a lot of things we need to pay attention to in this game, and it's hard to keep track of them on our own. So, the first add-on we're going to look at is called Lose Control. Lose Control displays the duration of CC effects that are on your character, as well as your target and party. So with Lose Control, when I first installed this add-on, I noticed that the icon that shows up over your character, which is probably right in the center of your screen, is a little big. When you first had it installed, it's around here. It's kind of obnoxious. So, I shrunk it, right down to a nice comfortable size. I never had any problems with party, focus, or target because they kind of scale with the frame. As I moved my frames bigger and smaller, Lose Control was scaling with the portrait size, so I didn't have to worry about customizing that. The only thing I had to worry about was player. Next up is Move Anything. What Move Anything enables you to do is fully customize the basic Blizzard UI by taking the bottom bar here, moving it all around. The mini buttons here can be moved, your bags can be moved. You can hide those little griffins, the main bar even, I just get rid of everything. It really cleans up the UI, I feel. But another part of this add-on is the ability to change the size of your party 1, 2, 3. You can make your party a little bit bigger and check out the portraits a lot easier, clearer, almost as if it's your target frame. And with Lose Control, having bigger portraits on your party enables you to see the duration of crowd control effects on them too. So you can go ahead and just check this little box here to enable yourself to move the frame around. You might need to sit in a party with some people to get the party frames to the right size and the right spots. But other than that, this is pretty good out of the box. Now, one thing I do suggest you do, however, is you take your target of target and you scooch it over a little bit. Because as it stands, your buffs kind of overlap and you miss one of the buffs here. It kind of bugs me, so I just kind of shift it over a little bit. That's all you really need to know about Move Anything. It's a great add-on. You can have all kinds of different profiles for different characters, so feel free to mess around with it. And finally we have Gladius. Now, if you've ever played an RTS or a MOBA, you know how important the minimap is. For Warcraft, Gladius is sort of like our minimap. It gives us all kinds of information about our opponents that we need to know in a nice, small, easy to observe area. We have our trinket, how long the cooldown on the trinket is. We have diminishing returns, how long the diminishing returns are. Statuses such as ice block, pain suppression, if they're still in a bomb, as well as crowd control effects will be down here too. There's so many things that we have to watch for in this game that having to pay attention to all of them ourselves would be pretty overwhelming, especially when we're just getting started. I know that in tournament play and higher rated play, people have to do all this stuff on their own without the help of add-ons, but for us, we're going to use these add-ons because they really do help bring up your awareness. This is a game of Rogue Priest Resto Shaman versus Shaman KFC. This team is 2200 MMR and is going to be our example for the rest of this video. Here we can see a prime example already of Lose Control and Gladius doing their work. I noticed 3 things by looking at this already. Number 1, my Priest and my Shaman are crowd controlled. I'm feared, as well as my Priest, and my Shaman is stunned, so he can't tremor for us. The Warrior is not on fear DR, or stun DR. They follow up that shockwave with a silencing shot, and pop all of their cooldowns on my Shaman. I blind the Warrior, he trinkets instantly into a cheap. I take this opportunity to let my Priest know that the Warrior just trinketed, and I'm gonna bomb. This is a good situation for us, and we can get a lot of pressure or cooldowns out of the Shaman. Though our Shaman was at 20% life, I knew that if we bombed him this Warrior, we'd be able to get some pressure up. The Shaman linked, and we did exactly what we wanted. In order to know what you're looking for, you have to have a good understanding of the icons and the skills each class has. It sounds silly, but knowing each icon and all the spells in the game will seriously help you counter and capitalize on mistakes enemies make. By knowing these things, you'll know when to peel, when you should be countering your opponents, and what sorts of things are important to communicate to your teammates. The ability to communicate effectively and adapt as the game goes on is important. It's rare for a strategy you have planned out in advance to work. You need to play accordingly once the game starts and be able to make new strategies on the fly. This is of course going to depend on how good your awareness is and what sorts of things you're paying attention to. Are you paying attention to your enemy's positioning, especially the healers? What sorts of cooldowns does your enemy have? What are the diminishing returns looking like? These are all different things that are going to add up to whether your swaps are successful or not. Forcing trinkets or self cooldowns through restelths or shadow dance, in conjunction with your teammates' burst while landing CC on healers, is the most basic example of how to win a match. Taking this a step further, you can cross CC the entire team while bursting. When the enemies are CC'd through your burst, not only are you free to do as you wish, but your enemies are forced to burn defensive cooldowns to compensate for the lack of peels or heals from their teammates. Through this type of play, good awareness of positioning, diminishing returns, enemy cooldowns, and classes in general, you will find yourself in control of the game, and opportunities will present themselves much more often. In short, go out and learn about other classes. There's plenty of information out there, plenty of awesome resources for you to pick up on all kinds of things you didn't know. Till next time guys, keep stabbing fools.